Alright, what's happening guys? Bro80s here. Today I'm going to show you how to play the Revenant in Elden Ring Nightreign, as well as show you some advanced tech and some really good tips for her. Revenant is seen as one of the weaker Nightfarers, but I don't think that's the case. I believe every Nightfarer is very good at what they do. In Revenant's case, she's primarily a Faith Caster and Summoner. She can use her spirit summons to draw aggro from bosses, stunlock smaller enemies, or even help revive teammates. Speaking of reviving teammates, her ultimate can be used to do so, and it grants a buff that prevents death, but we'll get into more of that later. The Revenant has an S scaling in Faith, with her second highest stat being A in FP. Her lower stats unfortunately are her HP and Stamina. If you're going to play Revenant, expect to stay off the front lines and know how to dodge or get out of danger effectively. She will get insta-downed by most tougher bosses at the lower levels. There's a lot of misinformation or uncertainty around Revenant's abilities, so I'm going to talk about how they really work. Firstly, we have her passive, which is Necromancy. Any enemy that is defeated by the Revenant or her summons has a chance to be revived and will fight for you as an ally. The Revenant or any of her summons must be the ones to deliver the killing blow, so it's best to communicate or be observant about who is about to be defeated. These risen spirits will stick around for about 1 minute or until they are defeated themselves. Several spirits can coexist at the same time, so if you manage to defeat a bunch of enemies, you might expect to see more than one join you in the fight. Secondly, we have her ultimate, which is Immortal March. The way this works is that you unleash an AoE effect that can revive downed teammates and make yourself and any living teammates unable to be killed for 15 seconds. During this buff, you can still take damage, but you will never drop below 1 hit point. I will note that if you revive a teammate with your ult, they do not gain the Immortality passive. It is worth noting that Immortal March will also prevent your summons from being killed, and your summoned spirit can perform a unique attack when this ultimate skill is used. I will go over these attacks when I talk about the summons. Speaking of, let's go into her summons. First up we have Helen, an agile page who wields a rapier. She is the only summon that dodges incoming enemy attacks, but she isn't as tanky as the others. If Helen is buffed by Immortal March, she'll deliver a flurry of jabs with her rapier. Next we have my personal favourite, Frederick, a large pumpkinhead with a great hammer. He is slow moving but has a decent health pool and he deals good damage. He has a lot of sweeping attacks that can knock smaller enemies on the ground and briefly stun some larger enemies. When Frederick is buffed by Immortal March, he will perform a series of 360 swings with his great hammer, dealing a lot of damage and essentially turning into a Beyblade. Beyblade, Beyblade, let it rip! Lastly, we have Sebastian, a giant skeleton with powerful attacks, but he is immobile. Like Frederick, his attacks have an AoE effect and can knock down most humanoid figures. He is also capable of letting out a low damage roar that pulls the aggro of nearby enemies and bosses. He has the largest health pool of all the summons and is pretty good against bosses. If Sebastian is buffed by Immortal March, he'll fire a beam out of his mouth which deals constant damage. So what's the game plan for Revenant when you drop into Limfeld? Firstly, you'll want to stick with your team and utilise your summons to support them on the expedition. You'll want to be on the lookout for seals, so that you can lean into the offensive and supportive caster that she can be. You can find seals in these shacks, in churches, from boss rewards and even merchants. Which incantation should you watch out for? I'll put a list here on screen so that you can pause the video, and these incantations are the best ones I've come across in my runs. They're insanely good. Given the diversity behind the elements that incantations bring, be mindful of what the Night Lord you're fighting is weak to, as you can find incantations which can help you. Frenzy Flame spells are great against Libra, lightning spells for Fulgur, and so on. Depending on the encounter, you can gauge which summons to use. If you're fighting soldiers and smaller humanoids, use Helen. If you're clearing camps and fighting bosses, use Frederick. If you're up against a tough boss or need something to pull aggro for you, call out Sebastian. A nice tech with your summons is that if you lock onto your teammates while you summon them, they have a good chance to prioritise reviving them. Sometimes if the boss is too close, they'll just attack the boss, so you need to be careful with this. I've found that Helen and Sebastian are best for revives, as Frederick whiffs most of his attacks. Helen does good revive damage and Sebastian's roar is amazing for revives, especially if you've got multiple teammates downed and you don't have your ultimate ready. And speaking of your ult, don't waste it. Much like Guardian's ult, really gauge the encounter. Has your teammate only got 1 bar? Don't use it. Are both teammates downed with 3 bars? Yeah, use it. The thing to remember about your summons is that they're not like the typical spirit summons in the base Elden Ring game. You can't just summon them and expect them to carry you. They're simply there to assist you, and as I discussed, they each have their different uses and tools to help you and your team on the expedition. Before we move on, I'll show you one more tech that you can try and incorporate into your game plan. If there's a massive attack that the boss is about to do against you and your summons, call them away and resummon them. This is especially useful for if they're about to die. If your summon's health bar fully depletes, you won't be able to summon said spirit for quite some time. It'll take some practice, but it's better to read what the boss is doing so that you can safely get your summons out of danger and have their health bar recharge quicker. Next, let's go over weapons and gear for Rev. I'll keep this brief, as I've already gone over which incantations to keep an eye out for. But honestly, just keep picking up seals. Any incantation is better than no incantation, and you're bound to come across a good seal. What about actual weapons though? Honestly, keep her claws. Rev is one of the only Nightfarers where I'll use her starting weapons for the whole run. There are two exceptions though, and they are the Cipher Parter and the Coded Sword. These two weapons scale with pure faith and they're very good. The main reason I keep Rev's claws around is that they do great posture damage and they are one of the best weapons for reviving your teammates. Seriously, look it up, they're on par with colossal weapons. Lastly, keep an eye out for Starlight Shards and don't forget to beg your teammates for some before the day 3 boss fight. When it comes to relics, I'll show you the setup I like to use on pretty much all my runs. I'm using the Giant's Cradle, oh my god. And I'm using the following relics. Small makeup brush, the Grand Drizzly Scene for Revenant, which you can buy at the Collector's Signboard, and the Old Portrait. The makeup brush and Old Portrait you can obtain from Revenant's Remembrance quest, which I highly recommend you do. I'll go ahead and let you read the description of them all, but the short version of it is that you'll deal more damage when you fight near your summons, you'll start with some Starlight Shards, and items you consume also affect your allies. When you use your ult, you heal your teammates and your summons at the cost of your own HP. You'll trigger a massive Ghost Flame explosion, and you and your allies just deal more damage. I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty fucking good to me. To close off the video, I want to say that Revenant is quite enjoyable for those who want to play the role of an offensive caster and support. Her summons are a great addition to the team, they're good at helping you pull aggro and revive your teammates. And man, let me tell you, it never gets old reviving your whole team with your ult. Like Guardian, Revenant is a solid team player, but lacks the capabilities to be strong in solo play. Do not let that take away the fact that she is quite viable for multiplayer expeditions. Anyway guys, that's all for today. Leave a comment if you enjoyed the video or have any further questions, and don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget, we have a Discord server up and running. I'll leave a link for that in the description. Come join the flock and have a good one.